result, give outcomes that are meaningful and valuable to the business or to the agency.
Definitely. So let's talk about mentor programs, right? And especially mentoring is very important. How do we leverage mentorship, the networking, especially for the women in the tech industry? So we need someone, and I can assure you that each one of us who is here in this webinar would agree that we need someone to sometimes, constantly motivate us, especially when we are getting into a new place, guide us, right? And then let us know feedback on how we are progressing, someone that motivates us. So how important is mentoring in this industry? Do we need more mentoring in this industry, or is it the same like the tech and the fintech industries? Kathy?
Well, as a consultant, I wouldn't consider myself, looking for a mentor. I have been mentored in the past, but at this stage of the game, I'm looking to collaborate. I'm looking to have, regular conversations with stakeholders, especially if I'm working on a particular project. So the engagement across all business units, across all levels is really important. And also, you have to still be aware of what your value proposition is. What do you bring to the table? Why did they hire you? So it's more about that for me than finding a mentor, because I have people within my network that I have constant conversations with. But to me, it's more about bringing value.
Very nice. Kathy, that brings a very important thought process even running in my mind. And might be at some point, after some time, we don't need a mentor and we need to become a mentor. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, yes. So Harper and Dana, what are your thoughts as well on how do we leverage mentorship and networking, even for the new ones who are trying to get into the tech industry? Harper.
Go ahead, Harper.
Sure. So, being in different leadership positions, I have always taken it on that being a mentor to the employees, the teammates that I work with, is part of my job. So whether it's a new person coming out of college that needs to understand the nuances of the environment or the organization, or somebody that has just joined, I do that with one-on-ones, team building, etc. And then I participate in a formal program at Georgia State University that's managed and run, where they pair you up with males and females to go through different things in order to be successful, like resume writing, like interviewing, a lot of different basic things that folks that haven't been in a business or academic situation might not know to do. But I've always incorporated it. I enjoy it in the whether I'm teaching or whether I'm leading a team. It's just something that I feel is necessary to. I've had mentors before who have assisted me, and I always feel like you should, have your arm out to help the next person or the next generation of leaders.
Dana, any different thoughts?
I in a consulting role also that I'm currently in, I like to go out where possible with a colleague. We often will establish and perform consulting engagements or new initiatives as a team of two. And for me, that works really well. You can carry on with the strength of myself with another person. I often provide core supporting to the consultants who are going out and working with executives to ensure that we're relevant and we're adding very quickly providing product solutions and advice and models and even frameworks that are important and work well. Like Kathy, I have a network not only within my company. I always form a new network of peers at my level with whom I can have informal conversations, but just I've had decades and been very fortunate to work with many wonderful men and women, and have a handful, a dozen or so, that I can just pick up the phone. I have this situation with this particular company, and we're trying to do this thing. How would you advise that I move forward? Or here's what I'm thinking. Can I bounce this off of you? And that certainly helps. I too, like Harper, feel it's important to pay it forward. I had people, men and women, in my earlier career who provided that advice. I'm very clear when I'm mentoring or giving advice to individuals on what we're really looking at. There's a distinction between coaching, where I give very specific advice, or mentoring, as it's a long-term. A number of young men and women I've mentored along the way as they, and still get called upon, from individuals I worked with even a decade ago, to just have coffee. Let's talk through what's your next step. You're considering a next step in your career. And sometimes it is great to be able to give that safe, trusted advice, and just support. Hey, you can do this. I know you can make it to the next level in cyber and be a CISO, or you can make it to the next level and grow into a technology or IT leadership role. So that's very satisfying for me.
Very well said. Yes. Go ahead, Harper.
Well, and I was just going to say, having somebody believe in you makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, it really does.
Definitely. So, Kathy, I'm going to take, with all your permission, 5 minutes, even after 4, since we started 5 minutes after 3. So let's rush through these questions as well. Kathy, being a gender is just one of the social characteristics, right? So, is there a way how we can be identified and just embrace the multiple identities with all the things that's going on in US currently? So, women, women of color, women in tech, a woman entrepreneur. Can you all just see me for who I am and not just a woman or a color? I'm all this together.
It would be nice, but there are biases. We have to be honest with ourselves. Because if we don't, then we'll miss the boat. We won't have successful relationships. I've always stretched myself, and I've always pretty much been the only, mainly African American woman in certain circles. So I've gotten accustomed to that. But now I have the opportunity to lead over 700 women in my Women in Tech group. And I feel as if I'm there for purpose, to give everyone an opportunity to speak, to be a speaker, to be a moderator. So it doesn't matter whether or not you're, male, female, transgender, whatever. You have the opportunity to speak and to develop in your career. And also, if you have a business, you also have opportunities to develop as well. So I have been very busy lately establishing partnerships with technology companies, so that women and men in my group, but mainly women, can have access to opportunities for jobs, for funding, for being able to grow, to take their businesses to the next level. And so that's my contribution to society, and I feel that that's what it takes. It takes some of us on a local level, you know, if we want to
Mhm.
make a difference, to just give back and give back
Agree.
Agree.
strategically.
Very nice. So Harper, we have David and we have Mike joining us as well, and we know them, and you know, they are great men, you know, who understand the importance of technology going global as well. My question is, how important is it to forge partnerships with men in the technology industry, because we can't isolate ourselves as gender-based, you know? So how important is it for us to forge those partnerships with men?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important due to the fact that most individuals within the power structure are males. And so having them know your abilities, your quality of work, your loyalty, your ethics, I think is very important. The majority of individuals that I have worked for have been men. I have had several female managers, and they really have not been as supportive or helpful to me as the male counterparts that I've worked with are very in tune with training, next steps, you know, more about your career versus, and again, this is just my personal experience, than the female counterparts.
Very nice. So definitely, I'm sure each one has their own response to that, and thank you for being honest. So Dana, let's go, and this discussion we had with my team this afternoon, if you know, work-life balance exists, you know, for us, especially the panelists who are here. And my response was no, and I think the other three team members followed with the same answer. And I said, maybe it's a myth, you know. And so tell us, what are your thoughts?
I just think like with anything you take on with gusto, you give it your very best, and sometimes that requires a much more concerted effort to get the job done. I've always believed you have to uh, just do what it takes to derive results, and sometimes that is beyond the boundaries of a workday. I've always been fluid about that, and it's worked well for me. But that would mean, you know, leaving to go to a little play at school, but I'm back online for 3 hours after I put my children to bed to ensure the work got done. And on that note, I apologize. I do need to drop to actually
Sure, yes.
run a meeting. Thank you for this opportunity, and it's been great to serve on the panel with you, Kathy and Harper. And I appreciate the chance to be able to be a part of this panel. Thanks.
Oh,
Definitely,
thank
Dana.
you.
Thank you so much for
Thanks.
joining us. I just have two more questions. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dana.
bye.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your time. So, Kathy, let me ask, what would be your advice to women entering the tech sector, either early on? And Kathy, just so that you know, I used to practice medicine in India, and
Yes.
I'm entering into this industry way late, but I'm already enjoying it. But tell me, what is the advice you have for the new ones?
I would say to continue to learn, be agile in your thinking, and you know, expect to learn different technologies, because technology changes so fast.
Right.
I wrote in my book, technology changes as fast as you can write a text message. So just expect, you know, to change with it and to acquire the appropriate certifications that are needed so that you can excel in your career. And also, I would say network with other women and also men in technology. Don't, you know, become isolated. Just, you know, find a couple of people in your network that you feel comfortable with, that believe in your success and want to see you grow. And I think, the sky is the limit.
Sure. So, Kathy, are women in tech industry allowed to take unpopular approaches? Just a yes or no.
Are they allowed to take what type of approaches?
Unpopular. It doesn't have to be the approach that usually everyone takes. Can they take unique approaches?
Oh, absolutely. I think the technology industry is the industry that allows for the flexibility. Whereas,
Sure.
The banking industry is very traditional, very structured, very, conservative. Technology, I mean, my goodness, yes, absolutely.
Right. So with that, yes, Kathy, I'm going to take an unpopular approach and ask Harper a question, which I'm sure is certainly an unpopular approach that happens during webinars. So Harper, do you accept a position of VP of Operations in Vendorship?
I do, and I'm very, very excited about it.
So thank you so much, Kathy. You gave me that opportunity to ask the unpopular approach.
Wow.
Yes, so it's a surprise even to my team, even though they know Harper. This was decided even after we chose her as a panelist. I didn't know her much, but after we talked, we realized there was a gap that she's willing to fill for us in our company. So thank you so much, Harper. We are looking forward. Most of our team members are going to be very happy to welcome you in as well. And we look forward to growing with you and you growing along with us, along with the company's growth. Yeah. So
of course, it's my pleasure. Thank you. And thank the team.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So with one more minute, please give your closing comments. And if there's a very question anyone wants to ask, they can unmute for the next couple of seconds and ask. But let's go with the closing comments with you, Kathy. We're almost coming to the end of the session.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to speak, to be a part of the panel, to just share my, career experiences. And I just, encourage everyone to hang in there during this difficult time that we're going through, and to just to be flexible and to get to know different people. And so we can, make this a better world. And so I'm just, really grateful that you've invited me. And
thank you.
All the luck, Harper, with your new job.
Thank you. We'll be talking in the future, I'm sure.